Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Point of View. Happy New Year to everyone. I am so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for being here with me. It is such a privilege and a blessing to be in the year 2025 by the grace of God. Had it not been for the Lord, none of us would be here. And I am so thankful to be here. Thank you so much for joining me on Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk. Our subject today is 2025. Where do we go from here? And of course, you know my list, my LLST is live, love, survive, thrive. That is my list for 2025 and forever. So, dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen and amen. Where do we go from here? We're in 2025, 2 days in to the calendar year 2025. It is such a blessing. Where do we go from here? First, we know from my list, we're going to live, we're going to love, we're going to survive and thrive 2025 and forever. All right? So, I have some topics here, some subjects here, and I want to go to Beacon Press. Martin Luther King wrote, "Where do we go from here?" And the foreword in is by Coretta Scott King, and the introductions by Vincent Harding. And this is Dr. Martin Luther King's book, and it's the last book written by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's his final reflections after a decade of civil rights struggles. And the foreword by Coretta Scott King, and the introduction, of course, I said by Vincent Harding. And I'm just going to read just a part of this, okay? In 1967, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. isolated himself from the demands of the civil rights movement, rented a house in Jamaica with no telephone, and labored over his final manuscript. In this prophetic work, which has been unavailable for more than 10 years, he lays out his thoughts, plans, and dreams for America's future, including the need for better jobs, higher wages, decent housing, and quality education. With the universal message of hope that continues to resonate, King demanded an end to global suffering, asserting that humankind, for the first time, has the resources and technology to eradicate poverty. And that is so true today. And you can get this book, and it is, this is from the Beacon Press. The Beacon Press, okay? So now I'm going on to Gallagher, Growth in 2025. We're in a new year, a new calendar year, and I am just so thankful. How about you? Growth in 2025, 7 lessons to transform your life. Growth in 2025. 7 lessons to transform your life. Then I'm going to go to 25 ways to improve your life in 2025. So now I'm going here to Gallagher, Proctor Gallagher. Okay, now we're going right there right now. As we step into growth in 2025, he said, I can't but reflect on the incredible journey we've shared. And this is him talking at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Bob Proctor's teachings continue to inspire and guide us, reminding us that growth is a lifelong journey filled with purpose, possibility, and progress. So, this is from that institute, okay? This year, I encourage you to embrace the lessons that lead to true transformation. Growth is about more than achieving goals, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. These 7 life lessons will help you unlock your potential and create a year of extraordinary fulfillment. Number 1, embrace change for a better 2025. And just the other day, I think it might have been Tuesday, we read something by Bob Proctor. Yes, surely did. And so this is becoming a part of Point of View. This is so good. Number 1, embrace change for a better 2025. One of Bob's greatest lessons was the power of perspective. Change can be intimidating, but it's also the key to transformation. When you embrace change, you open the door to opportunities you never imagined possible. So true. That's why I like this. Now, here's an action step to this. And I'm saying again, Happy New Year. We're day 2 into 2025. Action step number 1, reflect on the area of life where you've resisted change. How could embracing it bring growth? For inspiration, explore what is a paradigm and how to change it. And this is Paradigms 101. Number 2, lifelong learning opens new doors. Lifelong learning opens new doors. Lifelong learning is a cornerstone of personal growth. Bob, always talking about Bob Proctor, okay, of the Gallagher Proctor Institute, all right? Bob always believed in expanding our awareness and acquiring knowledge as a way to unlock new possibilities. By committing to learning every day, you'll find yourself equipped to handle any challenge life presents. The action step here is dedicate 30 minutes daily to learning something new, whether it's a book, course, or inspiring video. Immerse yourself in personal development. Explore, update your mindset, and upgrade your life. So there's a link to that here. Number 3, from ideas to action. We have ideas. We have many, many ideas, but how many of these ideas turn into action? How many of them turn into action? Thank you so much for being here with me today. Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk on the 2nd of January in 2025. Number 3, from ideas to action. Bob used to say, knowledge without action is wasted energy. Growth in 2025 requires taking consistent action toward your goals. Turning ideas into reality is where the magic happens, and it all starts with small, deliberate steps. Action step, write down one action you can take today to bring your goal closer to reality. For timeless insights on turning thoughts into action, explore Napoleon Hill's teachings in Rich. Think and Grow Rich at Napoleon Hill Foundation. There's a link there also. So I'm in Gallagher Proctor, Proctor Gallagher Institute.com. Proctor Gallagher Institute.com. Number 4, build resilience. There's that word. Build resilience for success. Life will challenge you, That's inevitable. But resilience is what enables you to bounce back stronger and use those experiences to grow. Bob taught us that setbacks are just setups for greater success, and I believe resilience is one of the most powerful traits we can cultivate. What is the action step here? Reflect on a past challenge and identify how it helped you grow. Use this awareness to tackle future obstacles with confidence. Dive into Earl Nightingale's The Strongest Secret at Nightingale's official site for a deeper understanding of personal transformation. Number 5, strengthen connections for mutual growth. Bob always emphasized the importance of relationships in personal and professional success. Surrounding yourself with supportive, like minded individuals not only inspires you, but also fuels your growth. And we talk about connecting with like minded people that helps you, okay? Action step here, reach out to a mentor, join a mastermind group, or connect with someone whose energy uplifts you. Learn more from how to surround yourself with the right people. There's a link here also. Number 6, gratitude enhances your journey. We talk about gratitude quite often, okay? Gratitude is a simple yet transformative practice that shifts your focus to abundance. Bob often shared how gratitude can reframe your perspective, helping you see the opportunities in every situation. And the action step here is start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Reflect on how these moments enrich your life. For more ideas, explore the science of gratitude. There's a link, okay? Number 7, dream big and commit to growth. Bob believed in dreaming big and pursuing those dreams with passion and commitment. Growth in 2025 means aligning your actions with your vision and taking bold steps to create the life you desire. So dream big and commit to growth. All right? The action step here is to write down your dream life in vivid detail. Identify one step you can take this week to move closer to that vision. For practical advice, check out Keys to Unlocking Your Creativity. And that's a link also. Now, a balanced approach to growth in 2025. Growth in 2025 isn't just about achieving milestones, it's about embracing the process and living with purpose. As you move forward, remember that you are capable of incredible things. Bob's legacy reminds us that with clarity, resilience, and inspired action, anything is possible. So let this year be one of transformation. Let this year be one of transformation, fulfillment, and meaningful progress. With love and gratitude, Sandy Gallagher. All right. So this is Proctor Gallagher Institute.com. Now, our next here is info at keiththeblow.com. Okay. So this is keiththeblow.com. KEITH ABLOW. It could be a blow, it could be a blow. So, Keith, if I mispronounced it, I apologize. All right, let's get into it, starting from the beginning. 25 ways to improve your life in 2025. 25 ways to improve your life in 2025. And this was written and released on December 31st, 2024, released, posted. Beginning in 2015, I began publishing a list of ways to improve your life. This is the author talking. This is Keith, okay? Last year, I published 24 ways to improve your life in 2024. The year before that, I published 23 ways to improve your life in 2023. So he says, you get the idea. The tradition continues this year, he said, with the addition of number 25. New Year's resolutions often lose their power so quickly and completely that they have become cliche. But there are real, easily achieved ways to positively impact your life beginning with this first week of January. Here are 25 ways to unlock personal power in 2025. They're not in any particular order, so you can pick any one to start with. If you can if complete just 5, you'll notice a demonstrable improvement in your existence. But if you get through 9 of them, you could remake your life. How about that? So, what is your goal? I think we should take it slow and complete each section as we go. How about that? But he said, if you do 9, hey, you're on the ball. Number 1, try to recall one dream you had as a child, whether it was being a poet or a rock drummer or a multimillionaire stock trader, and take just a single step in that direction. So often, the ideas we had as children were good ones, and we abandoned them out of fear. The step in the direction of your childhood dream can be very modest. Signing up for a symposium on poetry, scheduling a single drum lesson, or buying a DVD on stock trader. No, it's not right. Or buying a DVD on stock trading. There we go. So I want to do that again. The step in the direction of your childhood dream can be very modest. Signing up for a symposium on poetry, scheduling a single drum lesson, or buying a DVD on stock trading. Even just telling 2 people about your quiet dream can move it forward. Frozen dreams have a way of thawing out rapidly when you warm them just a tiny bit. I like that. You've got to expect that your dream might well wrestle with you to remain just a fantasy. We resist our dreams because fully embracing them provokes anxiety, like jumping onto a raft that will take you down thrilling but heart stopping rapids. Your dream could argue that you should put it off until later, or that it's entirely irrational, or that you don't have the energy or the time or the money to pursue it. Don't expect to feel great taking the first step in the direction of your dream. Take that step in spite of your anxiety. Number 2, think of your life story going all the way back to infancy as an autobiographical book that you can hold in your hands. Now, Imagine which page or paragraph you are tempted to tear out and remove from the story. That page or paragraph might be the one that makes you feel profoundly sad or powerless or guilty or ashamed. Next, share it with someone who knows you well but has never heard about that event or phrase in your life or phase in your life. All right? Share it with someone who knows you well but has never heard about that event or phase in your life. Being willing to disclose the events in life we want to turn a blind eye to takes away the power those events have over us. And we must always remember it has to be someone you can trust. You can't be loved unconditionally, especially by yourself, if you think some part of you or what you lived through is too dark to bring into the light. Number three, give a meaningful gift to a friend of yours on a random day, not his birthday or her anniversary or Christmas. Giving gifts on those days is fine, but that isn't the same as an unexpected, unscheduled those are the ones that feel riskier to give and have more power to bond you to others who receive them. And that's because they're real and independent expressions of friendship, affection, admiration, or love. So, giving gifts has an interesting side effect. You'll feel wealthier even though you've just spent a little money. Why? Because human beings either feel bountiful or barren. Giving of yourself doesn't deplete you, it fills you up. And I like that. Don't you feel good when you give something and you give it because you want to give it, not because it's something that you're required to do or you have to do, you feel pressure to do, but just doing it because you want to do it. And that's what this number three is talking about. Number four, send handwritten notes to three people you admire most in the world, no matter how powerful or famous. Tell them sincerely exactly why you admire them and ask to meet for 10 minutes. There's a real chance one of them will take you up on the offer. And that one meeting could change you because great energy is contagious and being in the company of it can stay with you. And that is so true. Be excited. So don't uh, I know sometimes we're really bashful, and then we, as this is saying, we have doubts, and we feel like if I do this, they're not going to answer me anyway. But do it anyway because you never know. You never know. Very few people actually reach out personally for help from those who can give it the most. Do you know why? They worry they'll be rejected or made fun of. But think about it. If you have no attachment to the outcome of your note writing campaign, if you understand from the get go that you may receive no replies to your three notes, then there's really no risk. Here's another hint: you could send out 50 of them or 100, and there's no rational reason not to. And that's the truth. If you don't do it, it won't get done, so you'll never know whether you'll get an answer or not. So go ahead and do it. Step on up and do it. Number five, give some amount, no matter how small, to the charity you care most about. And I do that. I like to give to charities. I really do. And so, like, whatever amount I can afford, I will give that. As I said before, the writer is saying, giving is a miracle because it helps others while also telling your conscious mind that yours is a life of abundance, not scarcity, and that invites more treasures into your existence. Here's one. I found it together with Commander Kirk Leopold, USN, retired, and it's www.help22.org to help prevent veteran suicide. So here's another one I've given to repeatedly, which saves animals. That's www.barnsanctuary.org. Number 6, stop telling yourself you love people just because you grew up with them. This is a big one, but a really important one. Did your parents and siblings earn your love by unconditionally loving you as a child? If so, great. But if you've been wishing that had been the case and have felt unwilling to let the dream of having had unconditionally loving parents or siblings slip away, then loosen your grip. If the people you grew up with were not focused on helping you stay true to yourself, then admit it to yourself. You might stop unconsciously recruiting people just like them into your life, and that is for real. I like that. So here's the key question: who has loved you and who has been attached to you? Loving you requires the intent to know you as an individual and to honor and foster your uniqueness. Attachment can feel very powerful, but it is closer to owning you than celebrating you. Oh my goodness. I like that. Number 7, schedule an initial life coaching, counseling, or psychotherapy session. These are the gold standard ways to begin to get to become the person you were always meant to be. In a world of distractions and depersonalization, these are professions reliably focused on restoring your connection to your true self and your full potential. Hopefully, that first session will convince you of the power of teaming up with a coach or a counselor to change your life, and you'll schedule more. No one with the financial ability to do so should deny himself or herself that transformational opportunity. If you can afford it, get that coaching. And then, if you can't afford to pay the price that some people charge or require, there's always somebody somewhere. And there's so much self help information on the internet, and there are different books you can buy. There are all kinds of resources that you can get. So don't stop there because you can't afford to go sit in somebody's office, okay? Because the information is out here in this world. One caveat: not every coach, counselor, or psychotherapist would be a good fit for you. Some are not a good fit for anyone because they are not very talented. Oh, I believe that. If your first session leaves you cold, try scheduling one more with someone else. The first counselor I went to wasn't worth my time or my money. Now, this is the writer talking. This is Keith, okay? He said the first one was not worth his time or his money. The second one utterly changed my life. And if you want me to be your coach slash counselor, just email me at, and he said, info at keithablow.com. Number 8, get angry about something unfair. Say so out loud and don't stand for it. Now, my daughter, she says I need to do this, right, daughter? She says I need to do it because I keep so much inside, and I get a release, but then, like she said, sometimes you need to just tell that person. And so I understand what she's saying. So get angry about something unfair. Say so out loud and don't stand for it. Anger gets a really bad rap in our culture. It's accused of everything from destroying people spiritually to causing heart attacks. But suppressed anger can be more toxic. This is so true. When you're offended by something you hear about in the news or you see unfolding in your personal life, try saying so in no uncertain terms when you're asked about it, or maybe even if you are not. For those of you who have been living lives, this is talking to me. I don't let it physically affect me because I have ways to deal with it, but I am going to do more about it because just the other day, someone tried to gaslight me, and I knew it afterwards. I said something about it afterwards, but not to the person. And so some of these things have been going on for years and years, and I'll keep it to myself because I'm the type I don't like conflict. And then, of course, sometimes I don't say anything because I know that people, what is that, embellish.
Kind of line. What you mean?
My daughter said they embellish, and they also they want so much attention to them, embellish, and then have people thinking that you're the bad person, okay, when they are the ones that did it. So sometimes I don't say anything, but I know sometimes I need to. For those of you who have been living lives, so am I talking to myself? Of quiet frustration, letting yourselves be very direct and very mad about something that sincerely outrages you can start to crack the shell that has been your most powerful self inside it. So here's one of my favorite, he says, Bible verses. All right. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And that's Galatians, the fourth chapter, and the 16th verse. And we know that's Paul speaking, okay? All right. I like that. Number 9, take 2 minutes to think about life as a labyrinth. Mazes are built to frustrate people and get them lost. They're full of dead ends designed to make people give up and call for helicopters to pluck them out. Not so with labyrinths. Labyrinths may wind this way and that way. They may take you far from where you thought you were heading, but they always lead to the center. And that's what life is like. How did this calculator pop up here? Keep walking, keep your faith, and life will take you where you're supposed to go. Now, I believe that. The turn toward the center could be just a few steps away when you least expect it. Ooh, this is good. Now, keep this in mind too. You don't get to choose the day or week or year that turn you toward the center happens. It could be tomorrow, or it could be many tomorrows from now. The point is to know that it is coming, not to know when. All right. Number 10, try praying at least once. Oh, yes, I like this, Keith. Thank you. If you haven't prayed ever or haven't prayed lately, you'll discover that the act of praying for what you care deeply about has the effect of reminding you what that thing or those things really are. It also has the effect of reminding you that there is a great power in the universe that you are a part of. There's something interesting about praying. Even people who say they don't believe in God are loath to pray for the opposite of what they really want. How come? Is it because that underneath all that cynicism, they actually do believe? I recently completed my gratitude certificate in pastoral counseling at Liberty University. Now, remember, this is Keith talking, okay? The power of prayer has never been clearer to me. Number 11, read Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Self Creation by the great psychologist George Weinberg. Fused copies available online. Then there's Blue Dog by George Rodriguez. And there's Fear God and Take Your Own Part by Theodore Roosevelt. Zen or the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And that's Zen or, all right, OR. The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Pirsig, or The Betrayal of the Self by Arno Gruen, or even better, all seven. So these 7 volumes have the power to transform people and keep handing them out to patients and friends, along with Please Forgive the Narcissism, my book, Living the Truth. Okay, so if you're really short on time or intention, just read the afterword to a later edition of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Number 12, buy one piece of original art. Okay, buy one piece of original art. It doesn't need to be expensive, it just needs to appeal to you. Why? Because art is the antidote to our sometimes sterile, technologically driven culture. It makes humanity go viral in a way that YouTube can't. It also confirms your connection to things that can't be measured, like your personal vision of beauty. A good alternative is to create a piece of art. Just be sure to buy yourself the proper brushes or paints or glue or wood to create it. That will be a signal to yourself that you value what you are manifesting. Oh, this is so good. This is good. Now remember, this is keithablow.com. 25 ways to improve your life in 2025. Number 13, watch the movie Miracle with Kurt Russell. This film about the 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team defeating Russia's team is so good it can convince you to take on the next great challenge in your life. I don't know anyone who has watched it and been affected by it. Excuse me. Let me go back. Let me go back. I don't know anyone, he says, who has watched it and been unaffected by it. Also, watch the closing argument by Paul Newman at the end of the film, The Verdict. The scene of Sylvester Stallone and Talia Shire on the beach in Rocky 3. The monologue by Al Pacino toward the end of the film, The Scent of a Woman, and any performance of God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. They can help make you a better person. No kidding. Number 14, Tell your romantic partner one thing you would find exciting that you have not yet told that person. In my experience, Keith tells us, as a therapist, I found that people can remain strangers to one another in terms of passion, even after 10 or 20 years of marriage. Now, I do believe that. We keep secrets, let one out. You can write it down and pass it on to your partner as a note, like we did back in grade school. Write it down, pass it on to your partner like a note. Okay, before phone cell, cell phones. See what happens. Take the risk. Oh, just like that movie we just saw, that series. We don't know. Anyway, number 15, stand up for someone else. Now, I can do that. Stand up for someone else. You'll have the opportunity this year, I promise. Maybe in your home, maybe in your neighborhood, maybe at work, maybe online. Defending someone will reassure that person and empower you. Number 16, take 20 minutes to pretend that you are speaking to yourself from the heart as though you are your own ideal parent. You can do this out loud if you have the stage presence or silently. An ideal parent is empathetic but honest in assessing his or her child and giving that child advice. Sit yourself down, get very quiet, and then tell yourself, with the same care you would summon for a son or daughter, two things you really admire about yourself and one very limiting, very disappointing thing about yourself you really wish you would try to change because it could limit the whole rest of your life. That one thing should be so on target and so necessary that it has the power to make you angry, make you anxious, bring you to tears, or bring you to your knees. Focusing longer, say 15 minutes, on the admirable qualities is something you do for your child to take the sting out of the next 5 minutes. So do that for yourself. And keep in mind that 20 minutes is a long time. You'll be tempted to avoid it or shorten it, but you should not. Number 17, if you are a parent, resolve to mimic a habit I stumbled upon when my children were younger. Okay. It really helps me stay balanced during times that might otherwise cause me lots of stress. Here it is. Whenever I get a phone call or an email or a text from someone telling me a project is of mine or a goal or a relationship has hit a rough patch, I tell myself silently, yeah, well, this isn't like a pediatrician calling me. What I mean is that short of bad news about a child of mine coming from a pediatrician, or if your child or your children are older, like mine, an internal medicine doctor, nothing can really rock me. All right. So, because all of us parents know exactly how much time we would have for what seem like the big problems of our day or our week, if the phone rang and the doctor on the other end says something like, "Can I ask where you are? Because I've seen your son and I have something serious to talk with you about. I'd like you to come in." I'd have no time for all my other so called problems, and neither would you. So, things are actually better than we actually realize most all of the time. That is so true. Number 18, remind yourself that neither you nor I, nor anyone else is assured of another New Year's Eve. Okay, remind yourself that neither you nor I nor anyone else is assured of another New Year's Eve. He says, I know that may sound morbid, but it's also true. This could be your last year. It could be my last year. Don't deny that fact. Embrace it. Try waking up as many days as you can thinking to yourself, if I can leave a bit of a positive mark today, I will. Maybe it will be as simple as listening a little longer to someone that you might be inclined to. Maybe it will be complimenting someone who deserves it. Maybe it will be calling an old friend to tell her you were thinking of her. We are all a series of thousands of actions. Oh, wow. Every single one of them matters. And there is no way of knowing when we won't have another chance to add to the list. This is really, really, really good. Number 19, write out a thoughtful, healing, motivating message to yourself and read it every morning. Your journey through life is an ongoing one, but it also begins anew each waking day. Reminding yourself of the grand road map you intend to travel can create a silent and powerful narrative that plays at the back of your mind, coaxing you toward higher self esteem and your dreams. Wow, this is really good. 20. Think of one person you respect or like a whole lot whom you've lost touch with. Get back in touch by the end of the day on January 8th. All right, he's given us a deadline. That gives you a week to reach out by email or text, or even better, by writing a letter or calling on the phone. Chances are that that person you select is someone you're supposed to be back in touch with. Why? Because you'll have chosen him or her, and the universe is a lot less random than you might think. And that is so true. One other thing, let the person know that he or she was your first choice of 2020 of everyone possible to reconnect with. Hmm. It says 2020 here, but this is a 2020, 2025 piece. 21. Write out a list of goals for 2025. I know that seems obvious, but most people never get around to it. The goals can be related to your work or your personal life, or even better, to both. Make them as specific as you can and try to follow each with as detailed a strategy as you can think of to help you achieve it. Before you make your list of goals, you may want to use a few free resources I developed to clarify your thoughts and expand your horizons. Try out the ebook, How to Let Go and Move Forward, and the action sheets, Purpose and Personal Empowerment. Number 22, tell someone close to you that you disagree completely with what he or she believes, but love that person anyway. And I know we have people in our lives that know we disagree with some things, and then they disagree with some of our things. But we love each other anyway. Anyhow. Sounds like I'm trying to be a troublemaker, but that isn't my point here. We're at such a divisive point in our culture that it makes sense to express your opinion clearly, but while reassuring those on the other side that you still value them as human beings. So, why not practice with someone close to you? If you get back and I definitely disagree, but I love you too, then your relationship will only be strengthened. If you get back something disparaging, you've diagnosed the person you thought was worthy of communicating with as anything but that. Oh my goodness. Number 23. We're almost there. Try to understand and to live the words amor fati. Is that right, Lan? It's a Latin phrase that means love or fate, or love of one's fate. It refers to the idea of accepting and embracing one's circumstances, regardless of whether they are good or bad. The phrase is often attributed to the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He suggests that amor fati, is that right, Lan? Is a way of finding meaning and purpose in life. That's AMORFATI. All right. So I could, you know what I do, don't you? Let me see. Let me get this. No. Okay. Get the pronunciation of this. I'm looking for it in the dictionary because I want to know how it's pronounced. And you know how I do, don't ya? I like to get it right as I possibly can. So, okay. I'm trying to get the pronunciation here. I have time because I started 8 minutes late because I had to go back and do some. Okay. Anyway, I'll let you take care of that. It's a way of finding meaning and purpose in life, even in the face of suffering and hardship. The idea is to embrace one's fate rather than trying to resist or avoid it, and to find ways to thrive and grow despite whatever challenges one may face. So that, I think that's really good. Really good. Really good. Here's an example. Let's say you were on a battlefield with a few dozen other soldiers. You look across the valley and see 300 soldiers you will be facing in battle. There is nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. Do you walk timidly into the battle with your head hung low, waiting for your inevitable demise, or can you find the strength not only to find the strength not only accept your fate, but to love it, to hold your head high, pump your fist in the air, and to say, if we win this, and let's pray that we do, then it is one for the history books. So, see, life is not random, and the trials and tribulations you will face have been encoded in your story, perhaps through the generations. And I really believe that. I really believe that. So, if you can find the faith, and he says, I believe you can, to believe they are not meant to ruin you, but to strengthen you, then you will find your way forward powerfully, even through pain. Haven't we done it before? Many times. So I know this is the truth. Number 24, at moments of adversity, Think of yourself as the main character in a film. No, I'm not suggesting you fictionalize your existence. You're not acting a part, you're living a life. But I do want you to notice that when the main character in a movie is in seemingly desperate straits, no one in the theater tosses their popcorn aside and says, "Let's go." Tom Cruise is obviously screwed. So, in fact, everyone has exactly the same response. They stay in their seats and either say or think, "I wonder what's going to happen." And that's all you really need to do when it seems like you're going through a really difficult time or even a dark night of the soul. As St. John of the Cross put it way back in the 16th century. Stay in your seat. Watch what happens. Be ready for better moments. Life has a way of healing you as long as you don't give up and walk out on your own story. That's never, ever the answer because life tends to be good and it tends to the good, and you will be restored. Oh, this is so good. Number 25, and our last one. Decide to use what is known as non meditation as many days of the week as you can. Set a reasonable goal. Maybe that's 3 days a week for 20 minutes or so. What is non meditation? It is simply sitting and relaxing and following the flow of your mind without any effort, even the effort to concentrate on your breathing or to repeat a mantra. There is no effort, there is just being. That's the point. You just let yourself sit comfortably, be aware of your body, and allow your thoughts to come and go. Non meditation can ground you in the present moment, reset your nervous system, and make you less prone to becoming a slave to the thoughts and emotions that visit you every day. To learn more about non meditation, visit uh, https, of course, we know that, dpr.info / uncategorized / when is meditation non meditation. All right. So there's a link here if you go to this site. So there are 25 keys to making 2025 a transformational year. And Keith says, as I did last year, I give them to you with a certain knowledge that you still have inside you all the wonderful potential you did the very first day you were born. You haven't lost one bit of it. It's all there, just waiting for you to discover it. Don't delay. Start on the list today, and by this time next year, God willing, you'll be ready for the 26 steps for 2026. Life is like that, a never ending process of self improvement. And this is by Dr. Keith Abloh. All right, that is it. Thank you so much for being with me today. What a way to start the year 2025. This is wonderful. So, if you take this into mind and you exercise these, I believe that you will have a wonderful, wonderful year. And just remember what he said. He said, pray, didn't he? Oh, yes, he did. I love you all. I thank you so much for being with me. And I pray and trust that you will have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your day. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me.